So Mike, let's think. Good and bad experiences. What's the worst experience you've had on live? Can you think of one?
Not really. As I said before, that I make a joke of it. If something goes wrong, and I will make a joke of it. I mean, I think live is always maybe a little bit nerve-wracking. For the BBC Diamond Jubilee, they said, would I read in St Paul's Cathedral? And of course you say yes, because you can't turn it down. They said, Richard Baker's reading the senior role and we want you to read. Okay, fine. And I come off a ship the night before. I've been out of the Channel Islands, so I came back overnight. So I was still a bit wobbly sea legs wise. Got to St Paul's Cathedral, and then I found out the enormity of it at the time, that I had to, Richard Baker and myself had to walk down the aisle behind the Archbishop of Canterbury, then Robert Runcie, and I had to read a massive chunk of the Bible. And that was nerve-wracking, and I was hoping that nothing would go wrong. It was being broadcast around the world. Every famous face you could think of from the BBC in the past when you were a kid was there, row after row, and you thought, wow. Walked down to the front, got to my seat, sat down, and as soon as I sat down, I felt this stony silence. I felt this loud noise out of nothing coming at me. And 3 feet over here is the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, and she's standing up. I'm sitting down. I'm the only person in the place sitting down. And if I'd had the presence of mind to just go and utter a prayer, like I was just sitting down to pray quickly and then getting up, but I wasn't that clever. So I got up, what I deemed to be imperceptibly, very, very slowly. I was so embarrassed that I didn't even go red. I was beyond the red. And I stood up and then faced her, and I got this very, very stony look. And I thought, I'm going to have to stand here under her beady eye for 45 minutes until I read. So I got it hopelessly wrong. And of course, that made me, I don't normally get nervous, but that made me very apprehensive. And when I looked at my piece of the Bible, it seemed to get longer and longer and longer. And I was stood there for 45 minutes working out how I could edit it in my mind. I'm editing the Bible at this point in St Paul's Cathedral in front of the Queen. And I thought, I can't. I just looking for bits I could cut out so I could get it through more quickly. I feel I raced through it, but apparently it was okay. But yeah, a very embarrassing moment. Just getting this, everyone else is standing. You're in, one of the biggest cities in the world, St Paul's Cathedral. It's going out around the world. There's the Queen, and you make an enormous howler. But I didn't even think about it at the time. But I didn't get my I didn't get my summons to go to the Tower or anything. So I got through it.
All I know about live is that you just think, well, in the early days when I was doing live, don't swear. Whatever you do, don't fucking swear. Don't swear, don't swear, don't swear. And I always felt in the early days doing live, you always had the feeling that you might swear or say something awful. Or
well, no, I've never. I don't really swear. Also, if I swear, people think it's very funny. They think it's like it's a schoolboy swearing, because I don't really swear that much. So, when people said, be careful about swearing, I said, well, I sort of don't in daily life anyway. So it was never really a problem about swearing or saying anything untoward, really. I mean, so I never really had that problem.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm part of the sweary group, so just sort of very alive to it. Clive, what about weird journeys? I mean, or all of you, weird journeys that have gone wrong or that have lasted forever? That trip, that nightmare trip. Clive, any thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, loads and loads. But strangely enough, one that ties in Mr. Reed here. And he was talking about people who would be going on shows on telly with Captain, people who'd been somewhat inebriated the night before. Well, I did, it was a Superstore and I think it was Superstore or Live, or one of them, Michael tell us. But we played Japan. We toured Japan we were over there for almost 2 weeks, which was great for Japan. You don't never normally out that long, and we'd had a great time. So we're coming back, and we know the timing and landing is going to be really bad because I've got to go on the show because we were promoting, I think it was Burn. Anyway, our manageress, Jenny, was with us, and she said, well, have one of these. I said, what are they? He said, oh, they're prescription sleeping tablets. They're very strong. You go to sleep and you wake up. Otherwise, you're going to be awake and you're going to be a mess. Oh, okay, I'll have one of those. So I had one, and it was at the time you weren't allowed to go over Japanese airspace. Russian airspace for flying. You had to go around the long way and stop at, I think it was Ankara for like 3 hours. This airport in the middle of nowhere that just had a 6-foot polar bear stuffed, and that was all you could look at, and then nothing else to do but have a drink. So I didn't drink loads and loads, but I had a few. Jenny said, how's that tablet working? I said, it's not, Jenny, I'm having a few drinks now. Hopefully that'll work and get me to sleep. She said, have another one. So I had another one, and I had a drink. I got on the plane. Stewardesses, of course, you back off in the, oh, no, I'll have another couple of drinks. That was fine. And we're about an hour away, and Jenny said, have you slept? I said, Jenny, I've not had a bit of sleep at all. And the last thing I remember is, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land at Heathrow. That's it. Right, I was gone. I turned up. I don't know if you remember, Mike, Oliver Smallman, who was looking after us at the time. He was, you probably do as well, Steve. He was pacing around the front of the building, and they carried me out. I don't know if you remember the film Cool Hand Luke, where they're walking him round with the boiled eggs. And he said, what the bloody hell's happened? And there's like, get him in the dressing room quick. There were coffees going down my neck. Anyway, by the time I got on air to talk, we were reviewing records, and it was the most surreal lineup. I suddenly came to, and I was like, I thought I was fine. I wasn't. They said, oh yeah. I said, brilliant. What are we doing? Well, you're reviewing records. It was Jaki Graham's latest single. There was Neil Kinnock, Paul McCartney. Yeah. You remember, right? Yeah. I've forgotten who else the other guest was. And I'm just sat there, and then suddenly I'm going, oh, this is weird. There's Paul McCartney, who I've never met. There's Neil Kinnock. And this is odd. And anyway, they're all reviewing. And the video, now I know Jaki Graham quite well now, and she confesses it wasn't her favourite video. And it came to me, and there's Paul going, oh, it's a great video, Jaki, that's great. And they're all going, well, they're going, it's great. And Oliver Smallman's off camera going, she's here. Jaki Graham, pointing to Jaki Graham, and I'm just going, yeah, hi. And I said, well, I can't believe Paul McCartney, the great legendary Paul McCartney, has said that was any good. I said, the worst video I've ever seen. What's all that bit about? Ladies and gentlemen, Jaki Graham. And she said, so sorry. And you know what Jackie's like? She was like, oh, don't worry, love. And we got, I kind of explained. I said, I'm really, really sorry. She said, do you know what? I didn't want to wear that dress. They made me wear it, which was wonderful. So, that was the weirdest ending of a journey. But yeah, definitely.
That was funny, Doc, you saying about McCartney and Kinnock, because Kinnock sidled up to me. He said, when we do the video vote, he said, could you sit me next to McCartney? He said, because I play bass as well, I said, right. He said, yeah, I'm the president of the Gene Vincent Appreciation Society, so it'd be good if we sat together. And I said, right, okay. And McCartney had obviously clocked or overheard the conversation, because he came up and said, don't sit me next to him, will you? So I was in this sort of dilemma of people wanting to sit next to each other, not wanting to sit next to each other. There are only about 4 or 5 spaces anyway, so where do you put them? So yeah, you're right.
That lunatic from Japan turns up.
So, somebody posted a couple of days ago one of those, and there was Renee from LOLO, Margaret, Thatcher, and me. And I thought, some of those video panels, you're right, were really weird.
Yeah.
Very good.
They used to have that on Roundtable, if you remember, Mike, when Richard Skinner used to do it. I was a regular on that, and they would do the same sort of thing. They'd say, okay, review the record. You say, this is 0 out of 10, the worst record I've ever heard. Well, and on the phone now is, and that would be the Springer. And every time that you said it'd be 0 out of 10, they'd always be on the phone. You knew that.
Yeah. We had Pamela Stephenson on one. It was Brian Setzer and Pamela Stephenson. And during the show, she went underneath the table and she undid my trousers and Brian Setzer's trousers and pulled our trousers down. Boy, we struggled. Stop, we said. Stop. Slowly, but stop. Anyway, it was one time when the ratings went like that rather than like that. And John Walters was producing. And he said, this is good radio. This is good radio. Keep them around your ankles, boys. This is good radio.
Oh, well, yeah. And I can remember doing a round table, and I won't name the promo guy, but I think we probably all know he is, a rather violent promo guy. But he was working at a record company, and I knew him very well. And I was reviewing Nick Kershaw's "Won't Let the Sun Go Down on Me," and at the time, funny enough, Mike, if you remember a song called "Relax," I actually said at the time, I didn't name you, but I said, I think it's really, really bad that "Relax" has been banned, and "I Won't Let Your Sun Go Down on Me" is still, you know. And so that was a little gag, and I went outside the Radio 1 building, and the plugger was there and threatened to knock me out. I'll never ever forget that. But not say who the plugger is. But yeah, violent times.
There was one plugger. I remember. Do you remember Neil Ferris, who plugged quite a lot? He brought Gilbert O'Sullivan in one time to be interviewed by Nicky Campbell. He sent Gilbert in with Nicky Campbell, and we all remember the mad Paul Williams, who used to produce me, bonkers, mad as a hatter, brilliant, yeah. Love him, I love him to bits, but mad as a hatter. And he and Neil went down to the tea machine, and Paul spoke to him and said, yeah, so Gilbert O'Sullivan, what's he like? And Neil said, oh, he's fine, he's good. Yeah, he said, what's he like? He said, well, he's good, he doesn't do drugs or drink or anything, he does a lot of writing. Yeah, what's he like? And Neil's baffled by now, he doesn't know what to say. And for about 15 minutes, what's he like? He said, I don't know, Paul, what do you mean? He said, what's he like? Milk and sugar? I mean, he was, when we did McCartney, it was the same. We did 3 days, and through 2 layers of soundproof glass, we could hear Paul swearing. I said to McCartney, "What's the first song you ever wrote?" And he said, "My Little Girl." He's playing this song. Paul Williams, through 2 layers of soundproof glass. It's a first. It's a fucking first. It's a first. And he burst through the door, grabbed McCartney, and he's shaking him like a rag doll. He's got hold of the strings. He's going plink, 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 and he's shaking him. And McCartney's going up and down. And he said, "You've never played this before. It's a first. It's a world first." And I thought, this is it. It's all over. It's all over. And McCartney, bless him, he said, "Paul," he said, yes. He said, "Why don't you go back in the other room and do what you do best and leave us to what we do best?" Yes, fine. And off he went. And Uncle McCartney, he said, "Eccentrics," he said, "you got to love them, haven't you?" And I thought, what a lovely way of looking at it.
I think you got to know the person, know that true that is. Yeah, the greatness of radio.